In today's video, your bodybuilding show was canceled. How do you proceed? Hey guys, what's going on? This is Paul Ravella from ProPhysique.com, and today this video is going to be very near and dear to my heart. I love to answer your guys' questions, and this is a question from my Instagram direct message, so I'll put it on the screen here. If you guys have questions for me, send them over. But today's question actually is something that I've been dealing with quite a bit. If you like content around nutrition, training, and fitness, well, subscribe. And I'm gonna read today's question, and then we're gonna get into it. I would love your opinion on prep. I am preparing for my first bikini show. The show was supposed to be on June 20th, but sadly, I just got the news that the show will be canceled. I'm not sure what to do. If I should plan on do one in the fall or skip this year and have a building for 2021. I have been cutting since February. I don't know what to do. Well, it just so happens that I have a couple real world solutions specifically for you. Now, what I'd like to do is show you an example of two different things that you could do. All right, so the first is going to be what happened with my client, Lizzie. Now, Lizzie came to me last year, wanted to do a show, and we spent a little bit of time in a building phase, and then we prepared for stage, and her show got canceled in March. Now, being that it was her first time competing, what we did was we didn't know when the next show was going to be. So we didn't just give up on the process. We focused instead on starting a reverse diet. So even though we had ended prep a few weeks before the show was supposed to happen, we didn't give up on the processes that had been put in place. Lizzie kept tracking her macros, she kept doing her cardio, she kept training, and something really fantastic happened. And I see this happen quite a bit with my competitors who come out of a diet very intentionally. She actually continued to lose weight for the next few weeks to the point where now her calories are in such a good place that we're looking at doing shows in the fall, and she's just gonna end up being a much better competitor. So that is one thing that you could do. It all comes down to your expectations for the stage. Your first show, it's always gonna be, you know, a lot of anxiety and a lot of the unknowns, but it's something you should really talk to your coach about or your friends about. As long as you still are excited about the process, I would, even though that your show has been canceled, I would go into a reverse mode, looking at the horizon of what's gonna be available in the fall and keeping the same patterns, the same approach, and just taking your time getting there. This is always going to be a much better result for an athlete. Athletes and competitors that prep in a very short time frame, they're not getting the most out of their physique. When you're able to take a break during prep, bring calories up and kind of rest and recover, and then go again, it's always a better result. I see this time and time again when my competitors have the opportunity to do multiple shows. We get better and better with each show. The reason we get better with each show is because during our peaking process, where we use a linear progressive load, cardio goes down, calories go up, the body gets refreshed. It looks better, it feels better. Now, when the show is over, we've still got that next show on the horizon. So we're not going out, we're not eating like jerks. And honestly, hunger, satiety, all those things aren't nearly an issue that they would be if you had a very bad peaking plan where you're restricting, say, restricting calories, cutting carbohydrates, maybe trying to restrict sodium and water, and you just get to the show day and all you can think about is going out and stuffing your face. If you take a different approach, what I found is that by eating into the show, you feel good, you're not as likely to go out and blow your calories eating a bunch of crap, and then you get right back into the process. And so this could be a very similar approach for you, okay? And what I'll probably do here is include some pictures of Lizzie, include some of her weights and stuff, and I've talked about her a little bit on my Instagram. She's a perfect example. Truly novice competitor. I think she's going to do great once she gets on stage. We don't know when that's going to be right now. We are now shooting for August, but we're just playing it by ear on what's available for us to compete. Another option for you would be your show is canceled, but look around you. There are some states that are actually opening up, and I expect perhaps Oklahoma might be having some shows in June. I'm waiting to see what happens with them, but Oklahoma has eased restrictions a little bit faster than some other places. Shows in California, well, they just extended their stay-at-home order. So right now, you got to really pay attention and be flexible. And I understand for your first show, you might not want to travel. That's actually something that I really don't suggest. Your first show should have the least stress possible. Now here's my second option. Last year, I started working with Austin Ragno, and we met at the Olympia, and we really started talking about this process of getting on stage and we decided we were going to work together and get him on a classic physique stage in the NPC in early this year, 2020. Well, we all know what happened. We got to be a few weeks out, and something that I love to do when possible is set up a photo shoot, because although a photo shoot is not a bodybuilding show, for someone like Austin who lives this lifestyle, he was, I think, actually more excited about doing the photo shoot because he got a ton of content. Now, he works for an amazing company. They have amazing resources. If you guys are not familiar with Flagner Fail, Run Everything Labs, Daniel and Bailey, Rob Bailey, and that whole crew, that's who he works with. And so he had amazing access, and it was really cool. He called me on during the photo shoot, which would have been like show day. I get phone calls from my clients on show day. He called me, but it was actually Daniel and Bailey on his phone that I was talking to through the photo shoot. So that was a thrill for me. But the point is, scheduling a photo shoot with a professional photographer, especially if you can get something that's fitness related, man, that can be just as motivating as knowing you're gonna get on a bodybuilding stage. You know, you're gonna continue to push through. You can give yourself a peaking plan. You could even test it, much like I did with Austin. We tested some things. And once the photo shoot was done, we then started a reverse diet. Now, Austin has some other plans this year, like a wedding and a bachelor party. So we may not get on stage this year, and we may get on stage later in the year or early in 2021. It doesn't matter. But he's someone that lives this lifestyle year round. You know, even before he met me, he was already tracking macros. He was already doing cardio. He's, you know, dedicated in the gym. So it wasn't a huge departure for him to just not get on stage, do a photo shoot, and then we started the reverse diet process, and he's responded very well to that as well. So those are just a couple examples of what you can do when your show is canceled. You know, really paying attention to the landscape of the competition world, looking if there's a show near you, maybe not in your state, but you got to kind of be flexible there. The most important thing is not to let it get you down or not to get depressed, because the shows will start happening again. But this is a lifestyle. Once you take this upon, once you become a bodybuilder, it's something that's just ingrained in you. I think you would be very disappointed if you just quit what you were doing, especially since you put in so much work and you're already so close to stage. Keep going. Find ways to stay motivated and put yourself in a position to be a better athlete the next time you get on stage. Even if you just have to do a mock show. Pretend the show was gonna happen on the same date, go through the peaking phase, put on your suit, your heels, take some pictures, and use that as a lesson for the next time you get on stage. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for me today. I hope you guys are having an awesome Wednesday, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.